We're going to talk about AIDP and HyperPod. Put your hands up if you know what AIDP is. Okay, so let's have our first panelist first introduce himself, and also, we'll introduce everybody else afterwards, and also give us one sentence which makes everybody understand what AIDP is, in only one sentence.
Hello. Can it be a very long sentence? Yeah, hi folks, my name's Jacob Lieberman. I'm a product manager at NVIDIA, and I work with James and DDN to build out AI Data Platform, which is a enhancement to an AI factory that continuously prepares your enterprise data so that it can be used by training and inference and RAG workloads.
Well, that was a lot of commas, but I guess it was one sentence. Well done. There we go. Right, okay, so we've had the first definition of what AIDP is, and thank you, NVIDIA, for providing that. So just going back maybe a year ago, NVIDIA came to us and talked to us about this AIDP, and we thought that sounds cool, but we can do something slightly more cool. And for the start, we're going to call it HyperPod, which obviously sounds better. And then we called our friends at Supermicro and said, let's do something even more cool than what NVIDIA is asking us to do. So please introduce yourself and let us know what that was.
Sure. Thank you. My name is Michael Ang. I'm from Supermicro, and I'm a solution director in Supermicro. So basically, when NVIDIA and DDN approach us and say, hey, this is a very cool solution, let's partner together and build this together. And I look at it and I said, yes, this is exactly what we can help the customer with today, right? Because one of the biggest challenge customers buy this GPUs, storage systems, network today, they face the biggest challenge, how to integrate together. So what we come up with is so-called, how do we create a solution, a turnkey solution systems for the customer, enterprise customers, such that we enable them to start using these systems immediately when they deployed it. So the solution is HyperPod, running on Supermicro platforms powered by NVIDIA.
Thank you, Michael. Jacob, are you going to say something else?
And DDN.
And DDN.
Oh, yeah, DDN, yes, sorry. That's the DDN HyperPod. Yes.
And then we're going to try and sell this to customers. And who better to talk about what customers are needing and asking for is Derek from WWT. Please give us, introduce yourself properly, please. And then let us know what do you think, in, let's say 2 sentences, customers are asking for. And then we're going to dive deep in the next question round.
Okay. Derek Elbert, Worldwide Technology. I sit inside what we call Global Solutions and Architecture at WWT. So it's a global team, touch a lot of different accounts. I'm an AI practice lead on in that space, focused on high performance architecture. How we define that at WWT is compute network storage and AI workflow orchestration and cluster management. So those are the 4 pillars. So I'm gonna throw your question back, right, a little bit, because
Damn it.
I not to you, right, but to the audience. I don't think customers fully understand what they need, right? If you look at how they go about development, right, there's a ton of AI use cases that stay in a pre-production mode, right? And I think from experience, a lot of customers that we interact with, both in the enterprise, in the service provider space, and also globally, they have a lot of proprietary data. And that proprietary data holds a lot of value, but the issues that they're having is that it's spread out, it's dispersed, they can't get access to it, they don't know how to govern it, there's not standardized security practices around it. And you know, we've been, since 2023, probably before that, right, we've been preaching how important data is to AI. And I'm at the point, and Jensen talked a lot about different things around QVS and QDF and access to your data. And now we're at the point where I think the enterprises start to realize that in order for them to get fully production ready AI into the wild, they need to be able to access their data. and how important data actually is to good AI or AI in production. So I don't know if I answered the question, but I mean, my experience is customers, when we're talking specifically about data, don't fully understand what they need or what they want.
That is actually perfect. Perfect. Everything is perfect so far, apart from my picture, which needs to be changed. It's a terrible picture. Right, you chose that, did you? Okay, it's your fault.
It's AI generated.
So this is a good opener for what is going to be a very short panel session. What are customers really asking for? So hopefully by now you understand that we created an AIDP reference architecture platform in combination with Supermicro, working with WWT, which means we can provide a turnkey, is that the right word? Let's talk about that. A turnkey solution which we can ship into customers to solve all their enterprise problems. That sounds like a big claim, right? So let's go forward and ask Jacob about that turnkey word to enterprise customers and how we think it solves problems. I'm not going to phrase the question any better than that. I'm going to leave it as loose.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So the word turnkey is kind of, it sets a high bar for expectations. And what I think turnkey means is a better starting point for customers. And more specifically, it means they benefit from somebody else's suffering. Somebody else had to go and learn a whole bunch of hard lessons and package that up so the customer doesn't have to re-experience them on their own. And in this case, it was us. So within NVIDIA, one thing that's kind of unique is that everything we try to sell, we run internally first. We build it, we run it internally first. And we built our own AI factory. And we deployed it, and we thought, oh, great success. Everyone's going to start running all these agents. Well, what actually happened is every application, every agent tripped over access to data. It wasn't fast enough. It wasn't secure. It was not recent. There were multiple copies. Literally, every time we tried to do something, we kept bumping into data as a blocker. And so AI Data Platform was born out of our own experience trying to bring an AI factory into production for our users. And so we worked with DDN, Supermicro, WWT to package all of that suffering up and put a bow on it so our customers can kind of skip that step.
Yeah, that's perfect. And by the way, that is really what we think we're doing at DDN. So we talk to customers when they're doing RFPs and talking to us about all these questions for the next system. And once you go through an RFP process, you realize how many questions they have to answer in order to get to even step one, a roughly viable solution that might do what they want to do. It's a big journey just to get there. And by getting that major step, turnkey or not, then it's certainly a big step towards a solution which otherwise would take an awful long time and money. So Michael, tell us what you bring to this party, this Supermicro party within Supermicro, because I know we've visited your premises and we've seen some pretty serious operations when it comes to building systems and making sure they adhere to various ecological green policies and make sure they're well cooled and economic, etc. Tell us about that.
So at Supermicro, we are well known with leading technologies in liquid cooling and data center building block solution as well. So when we talk about turnkey solutions, how do we help customers? One of the biggest challenge is that how do we find the right systems, the solutions to help customer be able to start deliver the business outcomes immediately when they start deploying the system without assemble multiple different parts of networking, system, storage, and so forth. So by that, when we partner with DDN and NVIDIA together, we look at into say the best way to do it is can we look at based on our experience that from NVIDIA and also my experience working with various customers that in the past has previously they deployed storage solutions. We decided that hey, if we start with pre-validated, pre-integrated systems with the right software, the GPUs and the storage clusters. I think this will help customers find the good value of that. So therefore, we have the so-called HyperPod running on the Supermicro platforms, powered by NVIDIA, and that's where the entire turnkey solution is.
Thanks, Michael. Derek, this is now an interview, a serious interview. Give us an example of a time when you talked to an AI customer and solved one of their major problems about getting AI into production. And then tell us about how HyperPod might help get there quicker.
Yeah, so I can use a customer example that I know very well, right? They're very integrated into the NVIDIA ecosystem. They're obviously a large customer of ours, but they truly started very fundamentally, right? Like they were trying to build an organizational chatbot that their internal users could use. And they were using NVIDIA NIMs and blueprints to do it, right? Fully involved in the NVIDIA software and ecosystem. And as you start turning that wheel, right, and bring these applications to life and trying to expand on them, right, they started to realize that as you get into that AI factory or the facilities component, it was talked about earlier on stage, but power becomes a limiter, right? And so what we had to do was we had to get very, very creative with how we deployed, given they had a limited power per rack, right? And that's where a fully packaged solution that we help put together, right? Like we use this term turnkey. I hate the term, it makes me cringe, right? I think it's a marketing term because I don't care how turnkey it is, it can get you maybe to the 90-yard line, but it's not going to push it into the end zone. You need somebody to take you the rest of the way, right? Whether that's internal resources or working with us as a partner. And that's essentially what we had to do with this customer, right? In order to get this fundamental, very simple, RAG-based chatbot application off the ground, that's what we ended up doing. And the good thing is we look at it as a true flywheel, right? So once you start with a use case and get it into production, it generates more active users, more people learning within the organization, which then generates more need for infrastructure and resources, right? More GPUs. Then more applications come to life, right? Maybe you gain access to better data. Maybe you figure out how to better access your data and secure it and provide governance around it. This customer in particular was a utilities customer, and they were focused on a lot of policy around NERC, right? And so understanding the dynamics of that customer made it very tricky, which is where we came in and helped, right? And so what we've done is basically started this gigantic flywheel, and as we've slowly moved them into a true AI factory deployment by building it so it can scale, and then enabling different components within the NVIDIA ecosystem to help them gain access to their data, right? So it's not as simple as like, here's the hardware, here's it all packaged up nicely. It's like, what do you put on top of that in order for it to then run and become more like a turnkey solution?
Yeah. There's always a massive integration challenge everywhere. Yeah, I agree on turnkey, by the way. About a year ago, I drove my 1992 Volvo up to the Northern Highlands of Scotland, and just as I was turning the key snapped in two and left most of it in the barrel, and I had to hitchhike home, and the car was there on the side of the road for 1 month before I could collect it.
So you've been burned by turnkey. Yeah.
So, last 2 minutes. One sentence from each of you about what should happen next with the whole AIDP HyperPod direction. What are customers asking for now, and what should we deliver next?
Well, before we talk about next, just as a first step, a lot of enterprises, what we've learned is if we come at them with an AI factory and say, oh, look at all of these capabilities, these agents you can run, all this amazing stuff you can do, they're really not there yet. So I love what Derek said about how this virtuous cycle of you get a foothold, you start activating your data, and the usage only grows. Just like we know from HPC. The storage grows, the compute needs grow. They never say, oh, we're good, we have enough. And the places where enterprises like to start, maybe they're not ready for agents and all this other stuff, but they all want to activate their data that's siloed and spread across their data center. So pretty much every one of them could use a turnkey appliance style solution that they could just deliver and start getting value from the data they already have. Nothing next.
Michael.
That's
no,
it.
very good. Michael.
Can I piggyback off that one real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead, Derek.
Sorry,
No,
we're going. Am I going out of turn?
No,
No,
it's
that's
all
okay.
fine.
Okay,
It's all
good.
fine.
So to add on to that, right? I think that the key here is what we do with the data, right? So it's great that we're bringing a HyperPod to life, bringing those GPUs closer to the data. We're allowing some of those GPUs to go back to the compute workloads and take them out of the need in line with the data, so you can use them for the actual applications. But what we need to pay attention to is what are we doing with that pipeline, right? What are the embeddings look like? What does the pre-processing look like? What does the chunking look like? We need to start figuring out, and it's a we problem, right? Like NVIDIA, Supermicro, DDN, WWT, because a lot of enterprise customers, they don't have the resources at that data science layer to figure out how they can actually get the most out of those GPUs that are now moved into the storage platform, right? So I think that's where we go, right? Like we get more prescriptive with how we are handing over this turnkey solution. God, I can't believe I just used that word. We're handing over this turnkey solution to the customer to then actually start developing their applications on top of it, right? Because the goal is to give them some GPUs back, right? So that they can then process for compute. And if we're not allowing them to gain access to that data and do the pre-processing, chunking, embedding, et cetera, then we're doing them a disservice with the turnkey solution.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to activate all their data and let them use their GPUs for extra things. Very good. Thank you, Derek. Last word from you, Michael. What should we do next? What's in the pipeline?
Yeah, I think Jacob and Derek summarized it very well. So, I can't find any other things to add on. But what I think the best things to do is to invite you to visit our bus, the tour bus at the AI on Wheels, right outside of GTC Park. Let us explain to you what is all these turnkey solutions, HyperPod solutions all about. From there, you will fully understand what we're talking about today.
Thank you very much. That's perfect.
Can I give a plug too?
Go on.
If you didn't get enough of James' wit and my banter, we co-presenting tomorrow morning. So
9 a.m.
Yeah, 9 a.m. So it'll be, most of you will be hungover, but if you stay out all night, you can just wander back to the convention center and come join us for breakfast.
Okay, so bus later on and 9 o'clock tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.